everybody, here's a fun module about programming and event planning, which is one of the core duties of many, if not most, public librarians. So this lecture is a combination of information from Chapter 7 of the textbook, Library Programs and Services, The Fundamentals by Greenwell and Evans, and some other library programming resources. So I hope you'll come away with a new understanding of why libraries offer programs and services, what goes into deciding what to offer, and a connection to previous modules like social issues, assessment, and adult and youth services. First of all, a word about terminology. The textbook explains that programs are activities or events scheduled by the library, such as guest lectures, book clubs, or summer reading programs. In a later slide, we'll discuss the importance of terminology and patron perceptions related to the value of library events. Also, note that many people hear the word program and assume a computer science connection, like software or apps. So we need to be careful about the terms that we use and explaining what we need. So here's a list of common program types as listed on page 136 of the textbook. Book clubs, summer reading, story hours, lectures and presentations, literacy, exhibitions, homework assistance, gaming, lifelong learning, craft programs, concerts and recitals. This is not everything. These are just some common program types that libraries offer. The textbook also describes services with examples like circulation, reference, research assistance, and interlibrary loan. So some common library services listed on page 136 of the textbook are consumer information, job assistance, outreach, small business support, laptop and computer loans, meeting room and study spaces, mobile circulation service, college access information, genealogical assistance, English as a second language resources, and research consultations. Again, this is not an exhaustive list, just some common library services. Both programs and services in libraries need to be connected to the library's mission, their values, and their goals. Programs can certainly be just plain fun, it's fine, but they still need to serve a purpose, even if that purpose is to provide entertainment in a safe environment, to promote friendship and neighbor relations. In the assessment model, we talked about outcomes, not just outputs like program attendance or registration numbers, but ways in which participation changed the perception, the attitudes, beliefs, actions, or decision-making capacity of the attendees. So for example, my library's mission statement is, Plymouth District Library shares resources to create connection and opportunity for our entire service community because we are stronger together. That's our mission statement. Our 4 values are comfort, generosity, quality, and collaboration. One of our strategic plan goals is become a convening space in our community for shared dialogue and action. So, knowing all of that, a few of the programs and the services we offer that demonstrate these ideas to create connection, to promote our value of collaboration, and create a convening space for shared dialogue. Some of the programs we do that are the Human Library. The Local Impact Alliance talks on social issues like protecting the watershed, firearm safety. They do programs on pollinator gardens to save the bees. We have book discussion groups, PFLAG exhibits and panel discussions, Freedom to Read lectures that are connected to the Michigan Library Association's MI Michigan Right to Read campaign. We offer 10 free printouts or copies a day for every patrons, even non-residents, which is a service that demonstrates our value of generosity. We are fine-free. We host the Literacy Council's English language learner discussion groups. We provide small business support with SCORE presentations and counselors. SCORE is a partner of the Small Business Administration. We offer Medicare assistance and counseling programs with the Michigan Medicare Assistance Program, or MMAP, which is part of the Council on Aging. So some of the outcomes of those programs are creating a culture of inclusivity, facilitating awareness of resources, increasing confidence in job searchers, small business owners, and seniors applying for Medicare, and providing convenient, easy, efficient access to information. So that is an example of how some of our programs promote our mission, our values, and our goals, and some of the outcomes of those programs. Most of those programs that I just listed and services also highlight our community partners or partnerships. We partner with PFLAG, MLA, SCORE, the Local Impact Alliance, MMAP and the Council on Aging, Wayne Metro Community Action Agency. We have a ton of community partners. Partnerships allow the library to provide quality programming that is affordable, usually free, from agencies our community trusts and recognizes. There are some articles in the module about creating partnerships. And as we discussed in the social issues module, when the library has a seat at the table to help solve community challenges and to be included in conversations and decisions that affect residents, we can provide better service that's more targeted to the needs of our community. By Valerie Gross. She came up with this idea of libraries equal education and aligning libraries more closely with educational institutions. Valerie Gross says that libraries should position themselves as educational institutions like colleges and schools and universities in the education realm to promote the value of libraries and our programs and services, and that library staff should be positioned as educators. This strategy categorizes all that libraries do under 3 pillars. The 3 pillars are self-directed education, research assistance and instruction, and instructive and enlightening experiences. Those are all things that public libraries do through our programs and services. It also suggests replacing traditional library terminology and jargon with strategic language that people outside of the field understand. So instead of words like reference, we use words like instruction and research. Instead of using the word program, we call them classes or seminars. That's the basic idea of libraries equal education as introduced quite a long time ago, 10 or more years ago by Valerie Gross. So here's my take on all this. It's a new way of looking at how we promote and market our events. It doesn't have to be all inclusive. We don't have to call every fun movie night or board game day a class or a workshop. But going back to the idea that programs should match our mission and values and have intentional outcomes, we can promote them as they relate to curriculum standards like problem solving, taking turns, making friends. We can be creative with our promotional wording to include these ideas without being too overly formal or stodgy. Also, this doesn't mean librarians are teachers or that educators are less valued. Public libraries serve a different role in society than schools, although our missions do overlap and they complement each other. Librarians can be educators in the realm of information literacy and technology literacy and other things like that. And our professional skills can complement those of teachers and school administrators. So it's just a new idea to think about that I wanted to include.
Another trend in public libraries is civic engagement through library programming. Some great examples I've listed here. The Skokie Public Library in Illinois has what they call a civic lab. My current director, Shauna Anderson, was actually one of the people who created the civic lab when she worked at that library. There's a link in the module to a report about the civic lab. Skokie also has these pop-up labs in their community where they have hosted conversational events hosted and facilitated by library staff. The civic lab also includes collections, handouts, prompts with activities, all around civic ideas like voting, immigration, pollution, education, healthcare, any topic that would affect the community. The Civic Lab has programs and materials around those topics. The document linked in the module has a cool quote about how the Civic Lab deepens grassroots democracy and social justice efforts. That's kind of what the purpose of that civic lab is. The Seattle Public Library did something similar. They have a community engagement manager on staff, which is kind of an interesting idea. They held a criminal justice series on the social impact of mass incarceration. And the article in the module talks about how it was very community-led, this criminal justice series, and the library staff played a supporting role. Kind of a neat way to approach what could be a difficult topic to have a program about. The Public Library Association has a campaign called Libraries Transform that literally shows how libraries transformed the lives of Americans. That link in the module also includes tools like outreach strategies and how to work with community groups and things like that. Programming librarians is a specific category of librarian. You can be a programming librarian. Not every library has one, but if they're lucky enough to have one, there are some specific skills that libraries would be looking for. The National Impact of Public Programs Assessment, NILPA, there's a link there to them, and this quote comes directly from that. A programming librarian needs strong interpersonal skills, the ability to negotiate with potential partners, a deep relationship with the community, and the sensitivity to deal with difficult issues. In addition to all that, I would say that programming librarians also need technology skills to create flyers and brochures and social media content, graphics, posters for promoting their programs. They need facilitation skills. They definitely need research skills and organizational skills for creating bibliographies and instructional materials, marketing and public relations skills, of course, creativity and curiosity. I think every librarian needs creativity and curiosity, but programming librarians for sure. And then holistic thinking as well. How does programming fit in with the library mission, its goals, and other services and departments that the library offers? So computer classes are an event or a program, and there are collection connections, so you buy materials on computer instruction for the library collection. And then of course technology. The library offers public computer stations to practice and also even to hold these computer classes at all. If you had maybe a book club or an author visit, there are collection connections there, reader advisory, and then even family or intergenerational program is cross-departmental. So I love the idea that programming fits in with other library services and departments, because the whole point of library programming is to help the library meet its mission and its goals, right? It's just one more way that libraries do that. And then programming librarians also absolutely need to have an appreciation for diversity and inclusion. So programming policy. The Cincinnati and Hamilton County Library link there is a pretty good example of a library programming policy. It spells out what kind of programs the library is going to offer, why they do it, where they do it, what they expect, and how it helps them to reach their goals. So every bit of information that any kind of policy would include is included in that Cincinnati and Hamilton County policy. It's a really good example. I've also included here a link to the interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights about the meeting rooms, exhibit spaces, and programs from the ALA website. So it spells out equitable use. This link also has publications and webinars about meeting rooms, ethics, displays, conflicts, liabilities, everything to do with meeting spaces in public libraries, how to offer them equitably is on that page. Really good information there.
There are all kinds of places to find programming ideas. I've shared just a few resources for different age groups here. The Programming Librarian is a great one with links to webinars and articles and everything related to library programming. Jbrary was created by 2 Canadian librarians, and all the content on their page is Creative Commons licensed, so you can tweak it to work for your setup, and it's focused on youth programming ideas. Teen Services Underground and the Teen Librarian Toolbox are about teen programming and have lots of ideas to share there too. You can also browse other library websites to see what they're doing. Even if you don't copy the idea exactly, you can see what's popular, get inspiration, and again, tweak the idea to fit your needs. In the module, I've also linked to articles in public libraries online tagged with the term programming and a link to WebJunction programming page. So in conclusion, this week we discussed common program types and library services, connecting those to the mission, values, and goals of the library, creating and working with community partners, the idea of libraries as educational institutions and librarians as educators, civic engagement through programming, competencies and skills of programming librarians, some sample programming policies, and where to find programming ideas online. Have a great week, everybody.